Welcome to Preserving Dallas History through Metal Detecting, and I am your host, Bob Rigdon. In today's short video, I would like to share with you some history of a little known and almost or all but forgotten historic site called Miller's Ferry. This particular site lies just maybe about 4 miles from downtown Dallas, beneath today's I-45 freeway. The area, or that is the ferry itself, came into being around 1856 when one of your early settlers, William B. Miller, also the same Miller that built the now famous Millermore mansion that sits in Old City Park in downtown Dallas. There were a great deal of things happening down at this historic place. Matter of fact, I have newspaper articles here and some pictures of what the ferry, not the ferry itself, but the site where the ferry boat actually operated so long ago. The ferry was used for excursions beginning back in the 1870s when the SS Harvey and the other steamer, the Dallas, it was called Dallas, the Dallas steamers actually were in the business of ferrying people down to the Miller's Ferry, okay, for these outings, these Sunday picnics or whatever. But there are articles which I have here, and I will go in more detail with at the end of the presentation of some of the happenings at this historic place. I mean, you had incidents where people drowned, people were shot, accidentally shot or whatever. You even have a nice article here where Henry Miller, the one who actually operated the ferry for William B. Miller, actually jumped in the river to try to rescue some horses that were caught up and were drowning, trying to pull the horses to safety. The ferry was operated by Henry for a number of years, and Henry is also credited with starting the community of Joppa, another historic black freedman town community. Some of the artifacts I found were evidence of these outings that they did have on Sundays or picnics, whatever you want to call them. I also have pictures here of what the area looks like today. And I also have a picture of the original chains that were used on the ferry that are nothing but just rusted fragments today. But I will give you closer views of everything on the boards here at the end of this presentation. Among the artifacts found were bottlenecks, which I always love to find, bottlenecks, old silverware, very old coins, and naturally you're going to always find your horseshoes and your bottles and your railroad spikes. There was a train tracks nearby where this ferry was originally located. I have just everything here, but without further ado, I'll give you a closer look at some of the things that I uncovered during my 2 trips to this very historic place. Oh, and by the way, there is a historic marker on Old Central Expressway that commemorates this historic ferry, Miller's Ferry. So without further ado, let me give you some close-ups. Thank you. You can see what I have put here as far as William Miller being the original owner or founder of the ferry. These are actual pictures beneath I-45 freeway, just 3 or 4 miles from downtown Dallas going south. These are the remnants of the original cables that were used to ferry the people on the ferry boat. This is really a horseshoe bend in the Trinity that created this site for the ferry to be built in the first place. At its deepest point, the ferry was about 30 feet deep. So that was it's pretty deep. Like I said, these are actually close-ups where it sits today, all tucked away and all but forgotten. People passing by the thousands to and from downtown every day don't really realize what they're crossing over as they commute back and forth. This is one of the cool bottles that I found, an old syrup bottle, and it has a very interesting history because one of the founders of the company actually, as you can see here, perished on the Titanic. And what would a outing or picnic be without old charter whiskey? Very cool bottle. Another very interesting bottle is this intact bottle, which is an old ketchup bottle from this company right here, early 1900s. The newspaper articles, like I referred to, is one here that talks about the excitement at the ferry when the horse and wagons actually went off into the river. And it even mentions where Henry Miller jumped in right here. Henry Miller, the ferryman, actually jumped in the river trying to free the horses, to save the horses. It was a wagon load of supplies that went under. More pictures of the ferry right here. You can see I-45 right there. And all of this is very secluded, very quiet. Like I said, the average person, citizen today, doesn't realize that this place is even there. You have to go out of your way or just know it's there to visit it. And this is the article, as you can see, Dallas Times Herald, 1894, where they talk about the 400 colored citizens having an excursion to the location. Very interesting history. There were people killed there. Like I said, one worker was in an accident and he died from his injuries, and they buried him right beside the road, according to the newspaper article. Some of the other bottles. Didn't find too many whole bottles, but I'm sure there's a lot more there. The place is so overgrown. And you always have a possibility of snakes, which I am terrified of. So you can only go to this place in the winter months because of the possibility of snakes and all other types of varmints. Here, close up. Let me give you a very, very close up of the coins I found. I always loved silverware. I never pass the old silverware up. Those green pieces of broken glass are what's left of wine bottles. So they drink a lot of wine down there. And here are some of the religious medallions I found. 1853 half dime with a hole in it. V nickels. Uh, 1943 silver Jefferson nickel with a large P on the back for Philadelphia. You don't find those that often. Your usual Indian head pennies are always around. And lots of Wheaties. Lots of wheat cents. Quarters, other nickels, dimes, one buffalo nickel, and other nickel, Roosevelt dimes with a Mercury dime, and the best item I found, that's an old, very old knife, is this gold field locket from the 1930s, early 40s. I had it open once and have not figured out how to open it again. So as you can see, the 2 trips were worth my time, worthwhile. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short but informative history on Miller's Ferry. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. And I will be uploading another video to my other YouTube channel, Ghost Town and Plantation Finds, also this coming Sunday, along with this video on Miller's Ferry. Thanks for watching.